Hey everybody, this is George Brasher with Shakedown of Thunder Sports, and you're about to watch the two Irish brothers. Go Irish.
How's it going, everyone? I am ND Sean 45.
I am Irish Benjamin 57.
And together we make up the Two Irish Brothers Show. Now, first off, before we go any further, you guys all see that subscribe tab in the corner. Make sure and hit it. Give this video a like. Help us grow this channel. We have been on a roll, Ben.
Yes, we have. But speaking of getting on a roll, Sean, both of us are going to be on a roll this weekend because both of us are going to the Purdue game. How exciting is that?
Yes, this game is one that we will be at in person, and who knows, we might do our recap right there in South Bend, but we haven't decided that yet. But there's a lot of excitement coming this week. We will be there on campus in the stadium for the game. And Ben, this is your first Notre Dame game in the stadium.
Yep. I've been to Notre Dame's campus a bunch, but I've never actually taken a game at the stadium. So I'm super excited, super pumped. I can't wait. It's against Purdue. I wanted to do a rival. What better way to start it off than Purdue? And it's a dandy. I mean, we got a dandy on our hands. You know, Notre Dame's undefeated. Purdue's undefeated. 2-0, both teams. You know, if you're coming in as a fan, you might have a little bit different expectations on one team and the other, you know, but it's exciting. I'm excited.
Now, what's the feeling like for you knowing that this is your first game, that you got butterflies or something, or what?
Oh, it's definitely the Christmas, like Christmas Eve, like you're like a nervous excited, you know, like, that like this is going to be awesome. I can't wait. You just want everything to get here, and be that. So this week I'm wearing a Notre Dame shirt to work every day this week. My coworkers and some of the other people that are support staff in the building are just going to absolutely can't stand me this week, but that's okay. So I'm excited. I'm super, super excited.
Well, Ben, before we get to Purdue, a couple things. We dropped to number 12, and we didn't cover this in the last video, but we dropped to number 12 in the AP poll. In your opinion, do you think that that's fair, or what's your thoughts on that?
I look at polls, especially the first couple of weeks of the season, is just absolutely meaningless. Teams are figuring it out. There are teams that look like contenders that aren't really contenders. There are contenders that look like they won't be a contender and then they become one. I mean, it is what it is. I'm not super worried about it. You know, I've seen teams like Auburn, for example, when they won the national title with Cam Newton. They started off that season, I think, like 25th in the nation. I mean, you know, moved all the way up to I think they were number 2 against Florida State. Or not Florida State, Oregon. So I mean, I'm not super worried about it. It is what it is.
Yeah, I agree that polls are kind of meaningless.
It's whatever to me.
I agree that polls are kind of meaningless at this point in the season, but I will say this. I'm fine with us dropping, but I don't think we should have dropped 4 spots to 12. I think we should have just dropped to 10 tops. But anyway, doesn't matter at this point. In the second part, before we go any further, let's see a word from our sponsor.
Howdy, partner. Wow. John. Oh, these Hardy Big West burgers really inspired me. Let's eat. No Spurs.
Hardy's new Big West for that big and wild Western taste. Lots of bacon and cheese topped with honey barbecue sauce. Big and wild Western taste.
Yeah, gotta go west. Gotta go now.
The new Big West.
Fresh from the kitchen at Hardy's.
For breakfast, try our 99-cent bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Okay, let me tell you something. I had that burger back in the day because I was 10 years old when that commercial came out, and that thing was actually the bomb.
Yeah. We need to bring that back. Maybe we can get that maybe we can bring it back. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah, well, you know what? If Hardee's ends up sponsoring us, we could very well have some say in what they bring back. But that's wishful thinking at this point. So
Yeah.
Ben, let's jump right into this game that we're going to be going to this week. The Purdue Boilermakers, longtime rival for Notre Dame. This is the first time in like 7 years that we're playing them. It's been a long time.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, coming in, I mean, Purdue's making some noise. I mean, they're a team out of the Big Ten that I don't think people really expected to make this kind of noise this early in the season. You win against Oregon State and then you beat up on UConn. I mean, they're pretty impressive right now. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's a shocker, if you will. 30-21 against Oregon State, 49-0 against UConn. So yeah, it's going to be a fun game. If the first two games were any indication, this one has the makings of being a triple overtime game. I mean, so
I hope not. I'm just being honest. I hope not.
Yeah, no. I mean, obviously, I'd love to see Notre Dame just run them out of the stadium, but you got to give credit where credit's due. We deal in absolutes on this show, and let's just say that Jake Plummer guy for Purdue is no joke.
Well, actually, it's Jack Plummer.
Jack Plummer. Sorry. Why did I think Jake Plummer?
The NFL quarterback?
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Anyway, sorry, Jack Plummer. But, I mean, let's just hit the nail right on the head immediately. Okay, 313 yards against Oregon State, and then 245 against UConn. Obviously, he could have had more. Purdue obviously played a couple different quarterbacks against UConn, being up big against them. So you really didn't know what he could have done as opposed to what he did do. But, I mean, now if you're looking at this, he's thrown almost 600 yards in 2 games. That's incredible. I mean, not gonna lie.
Well, another number that's a very key number, obviously, is the number of touchdowns he threw yesterday against UConn, which was 4. But also, you look at the other 2 quarterbacks on Purdue's roster that came in after him. You had Aiden O'Connell, who was 9 of 11, 86 yards, 2 touchdowns of his own, and then even Austin Burton when he came up in cleanup duty, 5 of 5 for 44 yards. But you look at this Boilermaker offense; it has talent all across the board. I mean, we have a 2-headed monster, even though it hasn't exactly looked like it through 2 games. But they have a 2-headed monster as well with King Doru. I hope I pronounced his name correctly, and Dylan Downing. Doru had 12 carries for 74 yards, 1 touchdown. Dylan Downing, he didn't find the end zone, but he still had 72 yards on 14 carries. So you're looking at 6.2 yards a carry and 5.1 yards a carry for each of them respectively. So then you go to the receiving game, and their top receiver, Davis Bell. I mean, what a day he had yesterday against UConn. And granted, before we go any further here, I know this is UConn we're talking about here. This isn't Alabama that the Boilermakers were playing against here. And I'm not trying to badmouth UConn, but you have to acknowledge the talent gap. You do. But you look at Davis Bell, 6 receptions, 121 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then you have other guys behind him like Payne Durham, who had 4 catches for 54 yards, 1 touchdown. Mershawn Rice, 2 catches for 32 yards, 1 touchdown. So this is a team that they know how to find the end zone through the air and on the ground. So they're a very complete team all around.
Yes, of course. Yeah. And that's where the credit is, the credit and respect. And, obviously, I mean, you look at programs, Notre Dame is the quote unquote better program, obviously. But, this is a game that if Notre Dame is not careful, Notre Dame could easily lose this game. And the credit comes into play with Jack Plummer and King and even Bell.
That didn't sound good.
That didn't sound good at all.
Anyway, go ahead, Ben. Go ahead.
That actually scared me really bad. Like made me jump out of my skin. I was not expecting that. So anyway,
this is a raw recording, people. A raw episode. That's how we go.
did one of those numbers. Scaredy cat Ben over here, but yeah. So like I said, you got to be careful. I mean, this is a Purdue team that's hungry. Obviously, the Big Ten. Everybody hears about Michigan. We hear about Penn State. We hear about Ohio State. We're all hearing that, and Purdue's there too. They're hearing about Ohio State. They're hearing about Penn State. Obviously, Indiana, their in-state rival, made some noise last year. Everybody was talking about them, how good they were, and then Indiana kind of got upset in the first week of the season last week, I should say. So Purdue's angry. I mean, they're going to come into this game mad. They're going to want to beat Notre Dame, obviously. Not only the rivalry aspect, but seeing, okay, well, hey, Toledo gave Notre Dame a run for their money. We can too. So got to shut it down. Defense has to get tight. This is time for Marcus Freeman to right this quote unquote ship. The first 2 weeks have been a little rough. Let's ride it against this Purdue Boilermaker team. And then same with the offense.
Well, I will say this, against Toledo, that defense did play a lot better. And I said this in our recap of that game. We held Toledo to only the defense. That is, we held Toledo to only 9 points through the first 3 quarters. And like I said, I don't count the Jack Cohn pick 6 because that's not the defense's fault. But we held them to 9. Excuse me. We held them to 9 points through 3 quarters, and it wasn't until the fourth quarter that things kind of got out of hand there. So they got better, and hopefully they can get better in this game too. And this game will actually be a statement for the defense if we're able to really step up. The one thing that I'm still concerned about, and I'll say it until they prove me wrong, is our offensive line.
Yes.
Our offensive line has been very well. I don't want to be too mean here, but they've been a mediocre offensive line. There's been some problems. I mean, we've had some injuries, which has forced us to play some young guys, but still, young or not, inexperienced or not, you have to be ready to go because this is your time to shine. If you're a freshman, this is a time to show that, hey, I'm ahead of the game here. I can get the job done. And so far, the offensive line hasn't gotten it done, which has led Brian Kelly and the offensive coaching staff to bring in Tyler Buckner a little earlier than I'm sure they would have liked to. But that's the thing. We discussed this in the recap to Toledo as well. If you're going to have a pocket passing quarterback in there, you need a good offensive line. I mean, look what happened to Jack Cohn in that game. He was sacked 6 times. And then in addition to the 6 sacks that our line gave up, they also gave up 11 tackles for loss, and that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
You can't properly run a playbook if you don't have the offensive line stepping up. I mean, that's just football 101 right there. Yep. But the thing is, when they did open the holes, we saw what Kyron Williams can do. We have seen what Chris Tyree can do. And speaking of Chris Tyree, I'm kind of getting off topic here. I'm kind of, scattering everything all over the place. But if Chris Tyree has all the speed, which we know he does, why are they not letting him return kicks on kickoffs? Why are they just having him just fair catch and let it go into the end zone? Because he has that wide open space. Let the kid show his speed. He could be the next Rocket Ishmael.
Yeah.
Let him show what he can do on kickoff returns.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, and us fans, we only see a snippet of what's actually going on, and that's something that I try to tell people and make points about. I mean, maybe he's just not that good at fielding punts. I mean, I don't know. I've never, I don't know what's going on in practice, but yeah, I agree. There are some things that are head scratchers.
That's why I specifically said kickoffs.
I mean, it's like same with Lindsey and stuff. I mean, how many times do we see him back there? I mean, to me, it's like, okay, you got the 2 fastest guys on the team, and neither one of them are fielding punts and kick returns and all that. I mean, anyway, it is what it is. And like I say on Twitter all the time, I'm just a fan, and I have no bearing on this team at all. So, anyway, but we got to get it going. I mean, obviously, like you said, the offensive line's got to get better. The running game's got to get going. I mean, we've seen Kyron Williams not rush for 100 yards yet. We've had 2 games where he could have easily done it. Same with Tyree, and hasn't happened. Has not happened yet. And to me, the first two opponents that Notre Dame have played aren't on the same level, in my opinion, as Purdue. I mean, I'm just going to say that. Obviously Florida State and Toledo are not the team that Purdue is right now. I mean, maybe Florida State has the better players. Maybe they have more talent and upside going forward, per se. But right now, Purdue's 2-0, and neither Toledo nor Florida State are.
Yeah.
So now the focus shifts to, okay, what do we have to do as a program to say, okay, we cannot let Purdue beat this Notre Dame team this coming weekend. And like you said, its offensive line production has to go up because we've seen Zach Martin, we've seen Mike McGlinchey, we've seen Quentin Nelson, we've seen the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Liam Eichenberg, on and on and on. For these offensive linemen that are getting drafted in the first couple rounds in the NFL, who on this line is going to be an NFL lineman?
Honestly, through 2 games, I have not seen it yet.
I haven't seen it either.
It's been a mess. I mean, as I said in the Toledo recap, when you have 3 offensive linemen that are losing to a 2-man rush, that's a big cause for concern. So Jeff Quinn, I think his first name's Jeff, right? Our offensive line coach. He has got to get it going. He has got to fix this offensive line quick because really so far through 2 games, that's been our Achilles heel. I mean, granted, the defense against Florida State did pretty poor as well, but the defense still made plays in that game. The offensive line, they were very inconsistent, and they've been inconsistent through 2 games. So this has got to be the game that you fix it. Because I don't know how you feel about this, Ben, but myself personally, I would prefer not to run a 2-quarterback system. I would like to just have 1 game in there. But the thing is, if this offensive line is going to keep playing like this, like they have through the first 2 games, you may have to.
Yeah.
You may have to play Buckner.
I think football especially is a situational sport. Most sports, you got multiple guys at multiple positions, and you play the guy in a current situation that's going to give you the best chance to win the game. Plain and simple. If you're a true player and you're a true teammate, it doesn't matter if you're starting or the guy behind you is starting. What matters is winning.
Yeah.
Okay. And if Jack Cohen has the arm and Tyler Buckner has the legs, then when we need a pass that's going to go 50 yards, put Jack Cohen in. If we need 3 yards on a quarterback sneak, put Tyler Buckner in. I have no problem with the 2-quarterback system at all. What I do have a problem with is people making camps. I can't stand camps. It's, okay, well, it needs to not be Jack Cohen, it needs to be Buckner, or it needs to be Buckner and not Jack Cohen. Okay. To me, it comes off like you want to see a guy fail or you want to see a guy do bad. And it's like, okay, if that guy does bad, though, where does it get us as a team? Where? Okay, what? A losing game? A losing record? A losing season? Like where does that's always killed me in sports across the board is like you get a guy that not everybody's fond of, and it's like people want to see him do bad. And it's like, well, if he's the starter and he's doing bad, then what does that say for the program? So anyway, I digress on my tangent. And whoever gets it done, let's get it done. Let's win this game.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, if Tyler Buckner needs to play a couple series to win this game, let's do it. If Cohen needs to play it, do it.
What I like seeing with those 2 yesterday is they both were picking each other up. I mean, Jack, when Buckner was in there, when Tyler was in there making plays, and he scored a touchdown, led us to points. Cohen was right there to give him a high five and back him up. And same with Tyler Buckner. He was there to back Cohen up when Cohen was making plays.
Yeah.
But all I know is that's what it comes down to, in my opinion. The offensive line has got to start stepping up and picking up their blocks. If you don't block, it's going to be a long ass game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and to add to that point with you and me, got to put my Dolphins in here somehow. Couple of weeks ago in preseason, my favorite thing that I saw all preseason from the Dolphins was not this like bomb pass, was not this amazing like 70-yard run, was not a fumble recovery or all that. It was their franchise quarterback, Tua, who's not playing in the game currently, literally running from the sideline to the end zone to congratulate the other quarterback that just scored a touchdown. That's what I want to see.
That's camaraderie right there.
That is what I want to see, because when push comes to shove, everybody has everybody's back, and everybody can figure out what they need to do, and they can take care of their individual assignment. That is what I want to see. So,
well, Ben, it's come to that time of the video, score projections. So I'll get this started. Now, game 3, there's a lot of pressure on this team, especially the offensive line and the defense as well. A lot of the fan base has had no problem showing their displeasure. I can see, I could possibly see the offensive line getting better now that they've had 2 games under their belt. They see what they need to do now. Hopefully Jeff Quinn has seen it as well. But I don't think we're still quite at the point where we're going to start blowing teams out. I think there might be still be some problems with the offensive line. I think the defense might struggle a little bit at first trying to stop Purdue's offense. So I think the final score of this game is going to be Notre Dame 31, Purdue 24.
Really? All right. I like it. I like it a lot. Well, I'm going to make a lot of people very, let's just say, angry. Let's go with that. I say Notre Dame 42, Purdue 38.
Hey, people love controversy.
So no, I mean, and to justify my mind, it's okay. They're averaging 39 points a game right now. I mean, Purdue obviously has a very powerful offense. If we struggle on defense, it's going to be a shootout. You got the rivalry aspect. You know, Purdue hasn't seen us in 7 years. We haven't seen them in 7 years. You know, obviously in-state rivalry. Going to be, to me, a high-scoring game. Last team that scores wins. Notre Dame comes out on top again, goes 3-0. That's what I think.
Notice how our scores are a lot different from when we did our season preview.
Yep. Well, we actually have numbers to go off of now. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, because we had a lot of new guys. We didn't know for sure what was going to happen in certain areas of the game. But you're right. We have 2 games under our belt now to go off of, and we have a pretty good idea. So again, people, another reminder: if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe tab so you'll always get videos from us. You'll never miss them, and also hit the bell icon as well. But again, Ben and I will be at the Purdue game this week, making the drive up there, and we might have some special footage for you guys.
Oh, we're definitely going to have some special footage for you guys.
Yes.
All right. We are going to.
Okay. All right. We are going to have special footage for you guys. I was trying to keep it as like a surprise, like
up, Sean. We want people to come back. So
all right. I got your point. So on that note, everyone, I am ND Sean 45.
I'm Irish Benjamin 57.
And as always, good night, God bless, and go Irish.
Go Irish. Beat Purdue.